Let me ask you something before we begin. When was the last time your PhD felt heavy, even on days when nothing bad actually happened? Not a crisis, not a failure, just that quiet pressure sitting on your chest, telling you to work harder, be smarter, prove more. If your brain never fully switches off, if your confidence comes and goes depending on your last experiment, stay with me. This episode is about the invisible weight every PhD carries and why you're not weak for feeling it. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Confessions of a PhD Survivor. I'm Lama, still powered by espresso and existential questions. Today we're unpacking the invisible backpack every PhD student drags around. Outside expectations, inside doubts, and that impostor syndrome. If you've ever asked Google, am I even smart enough for this PhD? Pull up a chair, this one is for you. Before I start, I would like you to imagine your PhD life as a giant crockpot, perched on 4 burners. Each burner cranks out a different kind of heat. So now let's start dialing up. Burner number 1, the supervisor settings. Let's lift the lid on the first burner of our PhD pressure pot, your supervisor's expectations. The idea that a PhD student should roll around the lab already functioning like a 5-armed octopus, simultaneously cloning, coding, troubleshooting, analyzing stats in their heads, and of course, scrolling PubMed on the toilet. Breaking news, none of us were born with biotech software pre-installed. Multitasking is an acquired skill, not a factory setting. Yes, your supervisor may dream of you arriving at 7 a.m. and leaving at 9 p.m., and literally dreaming of you working during your sleep. The actual mistake isn't their wishful thinking. The real danger is when you think that this is how it should be and beat yourself up for not matching it. Your project is like a tutorial level of a video game. Everything looks obvious only after you've died 14 times and memorized where the hidden traps are. Good data comes later, right after the "wow, why are the bands on my gel smiling at me?" and the classic "why does my culture media have floating things inside?" I can tell you one trick. When your supervisor cranks the stove to the max, ask yourself, is this heat cooking good science or just burning my brain? If the pressure is teaching you something new, keep it on a gentle simmer. If it's all smoke and panic, turn the flame down and your voice up. Give yourself the buffer all trainees deserve. Otherwise, you're grading a seed for not being a tree. Now let's slide to pot number 2. The people around us, family and friends. It all started when my family introduced me like I was the next Einstein. Meet Lama, she's doing a PhD. In front of a proud smiles, my inner panic rises. Great, now I cannot admit that I just contaminated my cells, or that I'm still questioning what I am doing and why. The bigger that superhero cape felt, the quieter I became. Bad days stayed hidden so I wouldn't disappoint the fan club. If I could send a postcard to past Lama, it would read, "Take off the cape. They will love you and help you to get over these tough days." Fast forward to Friday night. Finally out to relax and boom, instant math quiz. The waiter drops the bill, conversation dies, and everyone turns to the doctor in training for mental arithmetics. Newsflash, I need my phone calculator like everybody else, no shame. So here's how to keep this burner from boiling over. Start by telling your family the real story when you feel you need or want to. Great week! My experiment failed in 3 creative ways. They will offer moral support and you will get recharged. It's not a failure to be stuck during your PhD. It's only natural growth. When the bill lands, take out the calculator with confidence, because if you make a mistake, your friends might lose faith in science. And when the cape feels heavy, what worked for me was to remind myself why I chose this PhD in the first place. and to share all with my number one supporter. We will get to him and his role in the next season. Now let's slide the pod to burner number 3, the system. This next flame covers the university rules, the impact factor scoreboard, and the funds. The official requirement is simple. Hand in a first author paper before you submit your thesis. Estimated time, 3 years sharp. But when the clock starts ticking, the system quietly slides you 2 menus. Fast pass journals. Quick service, low impact factor, acceptance almost guaranteed if you have simple, good enough story. Or red carpet journals. Fancy, slow, 3 rounds of revisions, asking for experiments that require a time machine. Sadly, most of us grab the fast pass option just to graduate on schedule, even when our science deserved the red carpet 5-star treatment. The result? Under-seasoned papers and a lesson telling us that speed outranks quality due to stiff rules. If you were lucky with a supportive supervisor that really cares about the scientific value, with some funds, you can extend your PhD. This is what I personally did. But be prepared for an external stress and looks on faces asking, why? What's wrong with you? Why didn't you run away when the cage was about to be open? Yes, the system could use a firmware update, more room for revisions, less stopwatch panic, or at least more flexibility to discuss the different cases and pick the optimal solutions. Alright, one burner left. Burner number 4, the voice in your head. Our last burner, and the sneakiest of all, is the one inside our own heads. Ever catch your brain saying things you would never say to a friend? One failed PCR. Clearly, I'm not good enough. Look at Maya's 3 figures. Why don't I have 4? If I ask for help, everyone will know I don't belong here. That, my friends, is the impostor syndrome. That brain gremlin that shreds your confidence with 0 supporting data. It loves PhD students because the research is built on failure. 9 experiments flop, 1 works, and the gremlin highlights the 9. So first, let's normalize it. Feeling like you're not good enough isn't a bug in your personality. It's a predictable brain glitch when high expectation meet constant uncertainty. Surgeons get it, musicians get it, astronauts write whole memories about it. You are extremely normal. Let me share with you what I learned to do when doubts start DJing in my brain. The key, in my opinion, is to treat the gremlin like a picky reviewer. Call it reviewer too, and answer it as a scientist. Show it some evidence. Keep a small reality log of your recent wins. Tiny things like a nice IC50 curve, a contamination-free culture after weeks of trouble or so. Facts leave that voice with nothing to argue. My second most powerful strategy relies on your tiny support system in the lab. It can be 2 or 3 trusted lab mates. Find those genuine, nice people who are not shy to show you their bloopers, not just their highlight reels, and exchange disaster stories with them. Finally, remind yourself why you're here and that this PhD is just your practice labs, not the final race. If you already knew everything, you would skip straight to retirement in Tahiti, no? So yes, doing a PhD can feel like running a marathon in flip-flops. Long, tiring, and full of surprise potholes. But it's also packed with "I did it" and clapping moments. With every experiment that finally works, every band on a gel, every paragraph that clarifies the unknown, you are pushing the world's knowledge forward. And that's pretty amazing. Just remember, big challenges need a strong toolkit. Mental health, friends, confidence, and the occasional reality check. And if one day you decide that this path no longer fits, stepping off isn't failure, it's a reroute. We will dig into that option in future episodes. And there we have it, 4 burners identified. Knobs labeled, heat set to manageable. Time to serve up the science without burning the chef, aka you. So here's today's takeaway. You are not a defective superhero. You are a scientist who's still mid-upgrade. Drop the fake poster of that perfect PhD student. Keep the calculator and let your growth curve be as messy as any real dataset. Alright, just like that, we've reached the end of season 1. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now before we go, let me share something I've realized somewhere between my PhD meltdowns and mini victories. People often say the journey matters more than the destination, but honestly, I don't fully agree. I think what really counts is the person you become along the way. And that, my friends, is exactly what this podcast is here for. To support your growth, your becoming, and the messy middle you are trying to hide. So if that sounds like your vibe, don't go too far. Join us on our socials and don't forget to hit subscribe because season 2 is cooking. And trust me, it's gonna be even better. This is Lama signing off from Confessions of a PhD Survivor. Stay curious, stay kind, stay humble, and keep becoming the scientist you needed when you started. See you in the next season.